Alright, welcome back guys. So I plan on starting a new Summoner's War Lost Centuria series. It's going to be called the Unit Spotlight. So to start it off, I'm going to do Tez first. So for Tez, right, let's go check him out. So Tez is a fire unit. He's a DPS unit with an AoE skill. His skill is called Fire Crush. Attacks all enemies with burning flames to grant um, oblivion and to inflict damage. I can't pronounce it that well, but let's just call it debuff, right? So he has a debuff that he applies, which does passive skills cannot be activated. So currently, right now, Tez is a really good answer to the current meta that I'm seeing a lot of people run. Because right now, of course, right, we have the Lucian meta going on right now, and there's also within the top elo, there's players that is running a fire comp that counters the Lucian players, which I have seen, and I have already adjusted my comp to counter them already. So currently, I'm doing pretty good in the current meta right now. I can show you my comp later. But before we get into it, let's go through his skill stones. So for Tez, we have 3 skill stones, starting off with the common one. Increase damage by 5% per harmful effect granted on the enemy target when using Fire Crush. So that means that is really good if you were to pair him up with a Beretta. For example, Beretta applies 2 dots, right? If you were to land 2 dots on a unit, then you can chain it up with Tez. That means that Tez skill damage, his Fire Crush, will deal an extra 10% to that target. So basically, like if a target has, let's say he has 4 debuffs on him, right, like a crazy amount of debuffs, that means that if Tez were to use his Fire Crush, he will do 20% more damage to that unit with the 4 debuffs. So that is pretty good. And next one, we have Ancient Power. Honestly, dude, this is his best skill stone. Like, I think this is better than his current legendary skill stone. So Ancient Power of Fire Crush grants stun on a target additionally with a fixed chance. So with a fixed chance, I explained this in my last video, but I'll explain it again. So in order for a debuff to land, it has to go through 3 layers, right? The first layer is a random fixed chance of it landing without taking accuracy and resistance into account. It just have a fixed chance of landing. And then the second one is where it takes the accuracy and adds it up, and add the accuracy to the debuff. And then the third layer is resistant. It also have to take in account into the unit's resistant as well. So having this Fire Crush grant stun on a target addition with a fixed chance give it a higher chance of landing already. So this skill is really powerful. If you were to use this right, you can counter a lot of the other Lucian, because this is an AoE hitter, therefore it will affect all lines. So you can definitely use it to counter and stun and make your opponent waste mana. Magic Power Extinction, passive, removes harmful effect granted on all allies when you get a Tez card in your hand. So basically, when you draw Tez into your hand, you remove all harmful effects. So I mean, currently in this meta, this don't really have a place since a lot of people don't use dot comps, and even if you were using dot comp, we do have Eleanor cleanse and transfer as well. So normally this really isn't too big of a power boost. The purple one is the one you want though, 100% right here. So let's get into, I think I covered, oh yeah, he has a passive skill. Passive skill is called Elemental King. Always gain attribute advantage when attacking an enemy with Fire Crush. So he will always have the elemental advantage, which increases his attack, his crit rate, and his resistance. So do keep that in mind. So let us show you how to play Tez in a game, right? So what is his purpose? So let's scroll down. Alright, perfect. So recently I just fought Meowster Chief. So if you look at his comp right now, he's running a Jean, a Kona, a Megan, a Bernard, Beretta. We have Perna here, and along with Tigros and Lapis. So what do you spot? Well, actually no. Let me get into replay first, so you can see a skill stone. Cause okay, there you go. See his skill stones? He has Kona on purple skill stone, and he has a Perna. These two, and Jean, these 3 has passive skills, right? Alright, so what makes Tez so good into this comp is that, as I said before, Tez's skill, Fire Crush, right? It applies a debuff. That debuff is Oblivion, which means that they can't use passive skills. All of his units' passive skill becomes inactive. That means that his Perna cannot does not have 2 lives. So if I were to apply the debuff on Perna, if Perna die once, she's dead. She can't res back up anymore. And also, the second debuff is on his Kona, right? His Kona has the purple skill stone, and that purple skill stone is also a passive skill. That purple skill stone passive skill is that when it dies, it will cleanse your whole team, and it will heal them. So if I were to use Tez here, Tez debuff cancels that skill. That prevents Kona from using that skill. And also Jean also have a passive skill which is obtaining a secondary skill along with the so basically what Tez does on Jean, if you were to apply that debuff, Jean won't be able to get her invincibility card. So let's see how this plays out, right? So I'm using my Griffin first because I see that I have Megan coming up. That means that I can refresh my acceleration pretty soon, which I'm trying to use it early to get the max value. I'm just waiting here. See, now I use Megan, right? Because see my buff? My buff is almost running out, so I want to use Megan now to refresh it since I have already gotten a lot of value from just a 2-stack. So now Megan is going to refresh it into a 3-stack and restart the timer. Really nice here. Alright, so my Kona just died. It was pretty useless. My Kona really didn't do anything for me there. He just died, and he offered cleanse and healing, but this guy he's playing well too because he knows that he's going to wait for my Kona to die before he applies his dots. So see what he does right here. See, now he starts to apply the Perna after my Kona died because now I don't have a cleanse for my team, but I do have my Eleanor here. But I'm saving my Eleanor, so I'm countering with the I'm countering with Tez to apply my debuff on his Perna and his Kona because I have my Lucian coming up. So I'm about to do a Lucian spam on him. So I need to apply the debuff right now so he doesn't proc his passive skill if I were to kill. Nice, he cleansed it, but that's fine. That's fine, we are chilling. You do notice that I'm holding onto my Eleanor even though he has a lot of Phoenix Flares on me, because Phoenix Flare alone isn't that scary. What's scary is his Beretta. So his Beretta is his biggest threat to me right now currently. That is why I am saving my Eleanor for his Beretta. And when he do cast his Beretta, I can use Eleanor and I can cleanse all the Phoenix Flare on me as well for the first time. Nice. I'm using Megan. You see that? Refreshing. Well, okay, there. I'm using Megan to refresh my triple buff. I'm trying to keep my buff up all the time, if possible. It's best. Alright, see, so I use Tez here, right? Because his Perna and his Kona is about to die. So I need to apply the debuff right now to prevent them from using their passive skills. See, now he uses Beretta because he's forced to use it because his Beretta was in his hand for a really long time because he was waiting for me to use my Eleanor, but I'm waiting for him to use his Beretta. Therefore, he has to use his Beretta there because his Beretta was just taking a spot. Now I can use the Eleanor for full cleanse. Okay, never mind. I didn't use... Okay, so the reason why I didn't use Eleanor there was because I saw an opening to just kill him right away. So sometimes it's okay to take damage like what I'm doing right now. Even though I have a shitload of Phoenix Flare on me and he applied 2 dots on me, it's fine. It's fine if you can out DPS him. This comes down to a race of DPS, of who can deal the most damage over a certain amount of time. His dots versus my Tez and Lucian. Alright, you do notice, you see that debuff on him? That is from my Tez, right? And watch his Kona. His Kona has a purple skill stone, right? Kona dies. He couldn't activate his skill stone to heal his team and cleanse it, therefore giving me quite the advantage. And now look at my Lucian. He giant word proc that, but that doesn't matter. His Perna, you see that? his Perna also has a debuff on him, so his Perna couldn't use her passive skill, which res her if she were to die once. So that was free. And now when it comes down to this, you can just use your Orion to clean up. Play slow. That's fine. Pretty sure he just loses here. Yep. That was a pretty easy game. Let me scroll back down here so I can show you the comp again. Alright, so also what I want you guys to also learn from this obviously is what Tez is for. Tez is really strong into comps that heavily rely on passive skills. Like you don't know, but a lot of the skills don't count as passive skills. Therefore, Tez is really good right now to answer the current meta right now. As you can see, his comp, he's running a fire team in Kona. This is really good against my Lucian comp. If I were to fight him with my Chad Lucian comp that I built earlier, I would not have win this. 100% would not have win. So again, just sum it up. Also, in that fight, there was also this battle of DPS, right? How I had Eleanor, but I completely ignore her. Instead, I went full damage because I calculated. If you look at that, he only has DPS, right? No, I mean not DPS. He only has dots. So his dot versus my Lucian and Tez, I during the fight I calculated that I can do more damage than him. Therefore, I don't need to waste 3 mana on my Eleanor to cleanse, because my Eleanor even has Swift runes. I run Eleanor on Swift is because I don't care about the healing, because I'm confident in my DPS that I can win. Therefore, Eleanor is there just for cleansing. So that is why I run Swift on Eleanor as well. Alright, well, that sums up the fight. That was a pretty good fight. Gives me a lot of trophy there. So, let me see if I need to cover anything else for Tez. Oh yeah, for Tez, right? I run a Fatal, 100% Fatal here, because even though Tez, he has a low base attack, which is 305, that's not a lot, but running him on that Tez, as you can see, in my fight against that one guy, my Tez was doing work. Like he's actually pumping out just as much damage as my Lucian, just because he has the elemental advantage and he has a the triple attack buff as well. So Tez can be pretty good, and Tez is a good answer to the Lucian meta currently right now, because he's a fire unit. Therefore, Lucian will struggle a little bit to burst him down. So this would be my unit review on Tez. If you want me to do another unit, please leave it in a comment below. I will check it out, and I can definitely do another unit review. I will show you guys the best runes for it. I'll go over his skills and his skill stones, and then I'll go over a replay of. I will use him in my deck, and I'll go over a replay of it to show you guys what his purpose is in a fight, and what is he good for, and what is he not good for. So yeah, so I'll just end the video here. So don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.